Do you want to?
So yeah, so should I start? Okay. Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for having us here today on this DrupalCamp. I'm really enjoying it. This session will be about how to build a Gutenberg blog for your site. Actually, any site. But okay. So I'm Marco. I'm a senior developer at FrontCom, doing mostly Drupal stuff, front end, back end, you know, the full stack. Sometimes you see me running up in the mountains. This picture was taken like 1,800 meters from the sea level. Yeah, fun stuff. And Frank.
Yeah, I'm Frank. I'm a designer and a front-end developer. As you can see, I'm not as much as of a runner, but I have other interests. For example, mechanical keyboards. Yeah. So who's up for changing the topics of this presentation? Okay, talk to me afterwards. We are 45 people across a few different countries. Here in Norway, and Poland, Berlin, and Portugal, Madeira.
All right. Yeah. Again, what is Gutenberg? You already seen yesterday a presentation made by Fernandes and Frank Gjertsen. You've seen the editing capabilities, the great editing capabilities of this editor. But now we'll dig a bit deeper and understand how Gutenberg works. Just a quick recap. Gutenberg is the new WordPress editor coming this month, late this month. It's built with JavaScript and React, and since it's built with React and JavaScript at FrontCom, more specifically, Fernandes wondered, how hard can it be to make it a standalone editor from this that is WordPress free? I guess it wasn't that hard, so Gutenberg JS was born, and basically it's a standalone, just pretty much like CK editor that you can use on any other system or platform or whatever. And that's the base for the Drupal Gutenberg editor. At the core of Gutenberg lies the block concept. From a technical point of view, blocks raise the level of section from a single document to to a collection of meaningful elements. And they replace ambiguity with the explicit structure. So documents in Gutenberg is just a collection of blocks. Okay, so blocks are the fundamental elements of Gutenberg editor. Every block starts by registering a new block definition. There's a function, register block type, that you have these parameters, block name, and a configuration object. Just a quick look at this configuration block. It's set by a few properties, like the title and category, which is pretty self-explanatory. The attribute settings identifies what the dynamic content we are using in our block. For example, if you want the user to be able to change or set the alignment or background image or background style, you set an attribute, and then those options will be available on the block when editing the page. Then we have the edit function that basically will return how the block will look like inside the editor. And finally, the save function that will return how the block will be saved. not necessarily how it will be rendered, because that's usually the CMS or system responsibility. If you look closely, Gutenberg saves the attributes values in a structure similar to JSON. Well, it's basically JSON. Inside inside what we call a comment delimiter. So this example is just the basic paragraph block, and this is how it's saved. Okay. So Gutenberg is built with React and JavaScript, and uses building tools like Webpack. So does that mean that you need to learn all those things? Short answer, no. I mean, you can build a block just using plain JavaScript. But for more advanced block building and more complex block building, knowing this stuff will surely help you and will make you more efficient, and your code base will be more maintainable. Also keep in mind that we are seeing Drupal initiatives like the admin UI from Sally, for example. They are using React and building tools with ES6 and stuff like that. And it's just a matter of time that Drupal will adopt all those modern JavaScript libraries and tools. Okay, so basically we have three ways or three approaches to build our own blocks on Drupal. And to choose which one is better, well, as usual, it basically depends on our needs. The first approach, we can take advantage of Gutenberg's core functionality, that is the reusable blocks. Basically, it's a way to build custom blocks inside the editor without code. And this is how it works. So here I have several blocks. I just select them all, and then I can group them in a reusable block and save them like this. And then on another page, I can just add this reusable block. Yeah, simple. And every time I change, for example, this block, for example, if I change the content or change the style, it will change on any page that uses this reusable block. Another approach is we can use we can build a Drupal custom module and use Gutenberg's module hook function, Gutenberg block salter. This will give us a lot of flexibility since we can use PHP and Drupal specific stuff. Yeah. And then there is Gutenberg Cloud. Per-Andre also talked about it yesterday. Just a quick recap. Gutenberg Cloud is kind of a service or repository where developers can publish their own custom blocks and share with everyone. And it works on several systems. Like for now, we have WordPress and Drupal, but surely more to come. And at FrontCom, we develop this cool tool, NPM tool, that is called the Create Cloud Block. That, if you know, some of you know the Create React app. So it basically does the same thing, but for blocks. It generates, when it's executed, it generates a block starter with all the necessary code that you need to start. Okay, just one quick thing. Also with this tool, we can generate and build our block and includes on custom module, for example. Okay. So enough talk. Let's have a demo with Frank. Oh, no, Kitty. What?
Seriously?
Really?
Don't stop, Frank.
Oh,
Come on. Yeah, fine.
It's not.
Where are the number of tons?
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Let's watch it out for a minute.
We have time.
Okay.
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, on that screen before. So I was the one that had to do the demo, so we'll see in the end if that was smart or not. So Marco told about the create cloud block. That's an npm module, and we can install it by npx create block, and then the name of the block you want to create. I'm not going to run that now. I've done it already. So we'll see here. I have just have an overview of that. The tool for working with these blocks. So on the left side here, we have all the tooling for compiling modern JavaScript and stuff like that. The package JSON, where information about the npm module or the block that we are creating, and inside the source we have the actual code for the block in index here, and also we have the styling for this particular block. So and inside this file, we'll see in this we have some example block, and the important stuff here are edit, where that's the thing that you see in edit mode, and the save, that's what is render in the front end. So I can just to test the tool now, we can do npm start to see how the default block looks like. So
You want to show now, Frank?
wait for it.
Oh, yeah, there.
Did it appear? Yeah, it's here. So my custom block. It's huge, but we have can have some configuration on the font, and also we can change some colors. A bad contrast. Do like this. So if we want to do some work. See the screen. So the example I showed you, it's a really simple example with the text align that's set in the styling itself. But if you want to make configuration for that, we can go in and first of all, you can go into styles and delete this styling for it, and then we need to import, or I can first of all in the attributes, we need to set the styling that is later going to be added in the component. Text align. This type string.
String.
Yes.
It's a string type.
And then you can set the default to, in the first example it was center, we can have right. Alright. So now we kind of have the state. If you're used to React, this is kind of where we set the state. And then inside the edit here, we need to pull that from the props. So text align here. And then we have the object for the styles. Text align like this. And we also have to set the same for the save function. So text align. So we now kind of import or make the settings available inside the component. Text align. Oh. So it's not working yet. What we also need, we are using components that already exist in Gutenberg. So what we are aiming for is to get some alignment tools on the block, and we need to import that so we have it available. I just need to cheat how it's called. It's called alignment tool bar, and then block controls. So now we can use this inside our component. In edit, we have the return, and this is the configuration that you see on in Gutenberg or in the editor. It's a component that's specified here. So now we need to have import block controls. This one I'm not going to set any props for that. And then we have the alignment toolbar. On this we are going to set the value. So we're going to pull the value from the state that we set here, text align, and then the default value here. So we'll write align, and when we change, when you click the different buttons, we need to update the state. So we on change, we are going to run a function, and we have the property text align. That's gonna set attributes. And it's an object text align. It's like that. Let's see if this is working. So it's a high risk now. Is it working or not? We're gonna try.
Looks good.
Yeah, start. So, what we are gonna expect now is to have setting for align. So now we have this button. We did not have that earlier, and also my default right setting is present here. So now I can center align or left align the blocks. Yes. I could also have done changing, like for instance, background color. I could set a default to light pink. So now I'm happy with this block. So what to do now? I want to make it available for all of you. First, I'm just gonna I pushed. Just gonna bump this. 2. Can I change the name here? Is that what's going to?
Let's start.
That's a package.
Huh?
Yeah, the package is the one.
It's what ends up on npm, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll try that. Save. And then I abort this. Git run. Just to see, I have. Let's see. npm run. So I have start. That's the one I used. I have build to kind of make it more performant, and deploy. It will both build and publish. So I'll try to deploy this. Run deploy. Git run. I'm used to Git. Run. Almost. Huh?
Still says my block.
You have to change the package JSON.
Okay, I'll change this back.
No, you change the log file, not the package JSON.
Which one?
I think you should change the package JSON, not that one. That one?
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just gonna.
You don't have your keyboard there.
No, no.
Upgrade all the maps in the country.
So I just want to show you a quick other thing that I did. Git branch. Git checkout. For block. No. Yes. So I also did a test on another block, because when we are working with design systems and making blocks, we usually want to create a block and then reuse it within other components and or other blocks and kind of nest them together. What I have done here is I stripped down a lot of the configuration that it's not the right one. Let's see. Yeah, I removed a lot of the configuration that the block have. So the edit here is really small, and it accepts inner blocks now. And inner blocks takes templates, so I'm kind of pulling elements that already exist on in Gutenberg, so I can kind of make similar things like how Marco showed making templates, but this is like a module or a block that has some default blocks, and you can allow it to or you can restrict it so you can't add more blocks within it, and you can also restrict to what kind of certain blocks that you can add to it. So the template here, it's we'll see here, it's I include a core heading block at the top with a placeholder cat name, and I also add some default styling to it, and I also added a class name. The camel case attributes is because of JSX. It doesn't. You can't use hyphen. That's why it's like it is. And then I add a columns wrapper with one column here, and in the left column I have a include the image block, and the right column I include a paragraph and a button with some placeholder and text there. And in the save that you'll see when you in the front end, I just render the inner block content. So let's see if this game starts. So here's the total block, or the block with the cat name that uses title. So it inherits every setting that we have on title. So you can and then we can set the image. It's quite
Yeah.
and then the button. So, yeah, you can. I'm not sure if it's. Yeah, you can't add any more because it's restricted. Template lock, and I can't add any more into this. Yeah, I think that's enough demo. Maybe. Is something more I should show?
Actually, no, but I would just like to mention one thing. put on slides.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay,
Excuse you.
that's not a big deal. So.
Everybody knew about
Not really necessary. Okay. Just one final note before that. Drupal Gutenberg's module is getting the issue list is getting out of control here, and most of the issues here are Drupal specific issues. So no React and very little JavaScript. So we kind of need your help. We need your contribution, so we can have this stable version, at least with the features we're planning to have. So that's the only thing I want to add.
I also had some resources. What we talked about is create a cloud block. Maybe I should just show the slides here. On NPM, that's a tool that we use. It's not a part of Drupal use days. You pull to the cloud, and the Gutenberg blocks will be available for both Drupal and WordPress. This is the module itself. WordPress has a lot of documentation on the Gutenberg, and you often end up in GitHub when you need some specific details about any components, like when you want to know what kind of props that a component accepts. There are also Gutenberg News, where they have some tutorials that are nice to watch. For React, if you want to just get going a little bit with React, I would recommend this course by Tom Dodds. And I can't. It's quite. It starts just by importing React without having to have all the build tools. And also Westboss have a lot of great courses, and Scott Polinsky. And if you want to just test React, Code Sandbox is really a nice online editor for trying out React stuff or any other JavaScript code. So.
Questions?
So what kind of issues on Drupal.org would you like help with?
Yeah, the question was what kind of issues do we need most help with? I guess those related with Drupal stuff, like we have some issues with it's kind of a UI mostly with reusable blocks. We would like to include as soon as possible the media library. So yeah, that's one of the kind of a top issue there. Yeah, basically that's it. But you just go through the issue list. Surely you will find a issue that you can work on.
Can I assume like adoption for the different admin themes? It's probably something.
The question is, will it integrate well with other admin themes? You would need some tweaks. It works well with 7, so that's our main focus on that. But to work with other, you have to be careful. when Yeah.
The point was just that it's a way to contribute to sort of
okay, yeah.
get into support.
You mentioned yesterday that you have already done some custom blocks in Gutenberg Cloud for your developers. Can you say something about how many other people are contributing Gutenberg blocks to Gutenberg Cloud? Are you getting contributions from both people using it for Drupal and WordPress or others?
I think the best person to answer that will be Fernandes, since he's more into the
Sure.
Gutenberg Cloud.
We've tweeted with the WordPress hashtag and stuff about Gutenberg as well, obviously. And we've posted Gutenberg Cloud plugin on WordPress.org. And we got some attention from that. And we've seen two semi-well-known developers that have contributed blocks, and more are planning to do so. So far, we say on the page, on the WordPress page, that don't use this plugin. It's unstable and in early beta. But the WordPress plugin is really more stable than Drupal so far. But it just shows that it works. And if you go to api.gutenbergcloud.org/blocks, then you'll get the JSON feed of latest blocks. We do have the option of blacklisting blocks though, just for security. But if you play with it and you make something that's actually useful, then it will be up there in minutes or hours. If you have a WordPress install, you can head to, it's called Cloud Blocks in WordPress. Install the plugin and you just click the Cloud Blocks icon, and then you get a nice UI with screenshots of the blocks. Yeah.
If you create a new block through the GUI, the editor, or by code, is it available for all the users on the installation? And is there a way to restrict it to different user groups?
It's a great question. I actually posted an issue on Drupal.org a while back, because when you install Gutenberg, all blocks are available to everyone. So I created an issue called something like limit access to blocks or something like that. So what we want to do is to have a matrix where you can, at least to start with, globally disable blocks. So you just end up with a few. We don't have that UI today, but it's supported by Gutenberg Core, so it's quite easy, really, to implement. But we really, the next step would be to have this set up role-based, so you can limit access by roles. I think that makes sense. Or what do you think? Perhaps by content type. I don't know. Definitely supported by Gutenberg Core, but not in the Drupal module.
Did I get it well if I go there and create a new block or a new sort of plugin for the editor, and I push it to NPM, it's going to be available to him and to her immediately, or there is a sort of, I hope there is a sort of workflow that has to validate my work as a first contributor, at least to opt in and
Yeah. What happens now now it's in alpha is that we blacklist, like so you're accepted by default, because we basically say that this thing can break your site. But when we have more developers come in, when we have say we have 5 different developers that have submitted, then we will probably switch to whitelisting instead of. That means when you publish to NPM and you use the right keyword, because you have to use the keywords Gutenberg block, Gutenberg Cloud and Gutenberg for it to show up in the UI. then you'll have to ping us so that we can review the code.
Currently, it's if I just publish there whatever unsecure craziness, it's gonna be available for it.
Correct.
Well, just like any other Drupal module, basically.
Yeah, or in alpha.
But,
Yeah, in
but,
alpha.
then you decide you want to use that, not just getting it from a third, let's say third party.
But you're not downloading anything.
Ah, okay.
It just
You
sits
have,
on-
to enable
Yeah.
the-
Firstly, you have to enable it, and also you don't really download anything because it's all the code just sits in the CDN. Yeah, totally. When we get more blocks, then we can easily have an overview of when we check in every day. Then we have to whitelist instead of blacklist. This is just because we want people to get to test it and see that it works. If you're not happy with it, if more people like you say that, then we'll switch tomorrow to whitelisting.
Blacklist. More questions? Okay, thank you.